How's everyone doing today? So I'm going to get into a talk. We'll wait for the presentation to get pulled up. But we're hopping to the last chapter, and we're going to talk about buying, trading, and storing crypto assets. John mentioned a blockchain rabbit hole, which I'm sure a lot of the people in the room have gone down. And there's a lot of rabbit holing to be done before getting into this stuff. So this is kind of the last chapter, not the last chapter, it's an ongoing journey that we all have in this space. But there's a lot of due diligence, a lot of research, it's a complicated space, and a lot of stuff needs to be done before you start diving into purchasing these things, trading them for other things, and storing them. My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a local here in Boston. I organize a meetup group here called Boston Crypto Talks that if any of you guys are based here, I encourage you all to come to. Got into this space around the end of 2016, just really dove in, saw the amazing potential, which I'm sure a lot of us do. I started a company called Real Estate Chain, founded with myself and Jack Lau, who's the founder of Bitcoin Gold. We're decentralizing real estate content and data on the blockchain by encouraging owners of properties to build up secure, what we call prop wallets, which is a digital representation of a property, giving ownership back to the owners and those who act on their behalf. All right, just a disclaimer. When we get into purchasing and buying these things, anything you hear from me, just don't believe me. Do your own research. Just one guy talking who's really passionate about this space. So please, it's complicated space, mix of different industries and everything. So just do your own research. Starting out, I want to clear up some nomenclature. So I use the term crypto assets a lot. You hear the term cryptocurrencies, you hear tokens. I like the umbrella term crypto assets. So the first crypto asset was Bitcoin, started with a white paper by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency and a crypto asset. Cryptocurrency meaning it's a medium of exchange and a store of value. It's a currency. This gave rise to this new asset class called crypto assets, which are currencies like Bitcoin, but also other blockchain-related projects that have their own proprietary token that can be traded and bought on different exchanges. This new asset class I call crypto assets as an umbrella of cryptocurrencies and tokens from blockchain-related projects. I don't call it that, other people call it that too. I didn't make it up. All right, so we're going to get into three things today. How do I buy these things with dollars? And how do I trade these things for other things? And how do I store these things safely? You can substitute things for crypto assets. So first, how do I buy these things? There's three popular ways out there right now that are pretty trusted, recommended, pretty good way to get involved in the space. There's Coinbase, there's Gemini, and there's local Bitcoin. The first two are kind of similar. They're like banks kind of, and kind of like exchanges too, and kind of like wallets. They're a way where you can connect to your bank, get money into the space, purchase Bitcoin or Ethereum. You can even store it there. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. And then local Bitcoins is different. That's like literally meeting someone in a coffee shop and trading them cash for Bitcoin. It actually happens still. It was the original way people did it, and it still goes on. It's pretty bananas, but and they secure some of the things through their website. They do an escrow wallet, so the Bitcoin transfer goes into an intermediate wallet. Once you verify that you received the cash, everything went down as it was supposed to, then it goes through to the buyer's wallet. So this is the Coinbase interface. Coinbase It's a really good way to get started. It's user-friendly. It looks like an online banking system. It links to most bank accounts. There's about a 5-day transfer time or setup time sometimes to get going. It has vaults and wallets where you can store your coins. They claim it to be pretty secure, storing about 98% of the cryptocurrency in cold storage, which means it's not hot, it's not online, it's removed from the internet and probably on hardware wallets, things like that. It's a great user experience, and they claim that your crypto funds are fully secured. I don't know how trusted that is, but and also dollars are insured up to $250,000. The cons, they're a centralized organization, which this space is moving away from. You have to trust them. They're here in the US. The IRS is knocking on their door. Then you have Gemini. Gemini is similar to Coinbase. Oh, and real quick, on Coinbase, you can directly purchase with your dollars Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. So it's limited to those four. If you want to trade for others, which we'll get into, you have to go to other exchanges. Similarly, you have Gemini. Gemini was started by the Winklevoss twins, the two doofuses from the Social Network movie. They're back. Similar to Coinbase, better exchange fees, which is good. Similar good user experience and interface. They don't insure crypto, but they insure up to 250,000 US dollars, FDIC. You can only buy Bitcoin and Ethereum on Gemini, whereas Coinbase, you can also buy Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. And then local Bitcoins, which I mentioned, private, many payment options, fast, but there's a lot of scammers that you have to watch out for. It just feels sketchy kind of. The other ways are, might feel a little more legitimate. And you don't really know who you're going to meet, so there's all those situations that you have to be aware of. Okay, so that's how you get in, and that's how you jump in, get some of your cash, convert it to Bitcoin or Ethereum. But then, if you want to buy some of these other things, you have to go to these crazy places called exchanges. Here are some common ones. Binance, Bittrex, and Kraken. These are some commonly used exchanges where people will trade their Bitcoin, Ethereum for other cryptocurrency tokens. This is the Binance Trading user interface. It's a little wacky looking, but this is one of the preferred ones. A lot of people trading these things day to day in the space. You basically make a buy or sell order, trading one token for another token, and you have basically a list of wallets on the Binance account that keeps track of all the cryptocurrencies that you have stored there. Never keep these on exchanges. So the number one rule, if there's one thing to take away from this, don't store your cryptocurrencies on an exchange like Binance. They're like the Wild West. It's like they're just waiting to get hacked. They have been hacked in the past, Mt. Gox, other examples, and they're going to get hacked again in the future. So if you're converting your Bitcoin or Ethereum from one of the first ones I mentioned onto one of these other exchanges, just don't keep them on here. It's make your trades, get out, pull them into wallets, which we'll get into at the end, and make your trade and run, because these exchanges have massive amounts of cryptocurrencies built up. They're a centralized target. They're not really decentralized yet at all, and they're just waiting to get hacked, waiting to get shut down, and people whose bags are left in them are going to lose them. All right, so how do I store these things safely? You can't bury it in your backyard because they're invisible. If I don't want to leave them on exchanges and I can't put them on like a Coinbase or a Gemini, how do you store these things? What are the best practices for that? The best option is hardware or paper wallets. Second, a trustworthy software wallet. Third, Coinbase or Gemini, if it's just Bitcoin or Ethereum. And last is the exchanges, which you should never do. Don't do it. All right, so what is a hardware wallet? A hardware wallet is a device where you can keep track of and securely store your private keys. These are what a few examples look like. The white one in the middle is a Trezor, and the one on the right, the little USB stick looking one, is a Ledger Nano S. They go for 65 to 100 bucks. They've come a long way in the last year. They're secure, trusted, good backup, good security, and they're a great option for storage if you're starting to accumulate some crypto assets and need a place to store your private keys. You can also store them on paper wallets. That's another really secure way, which is just writing your private keys down on paper and your addresses and everything like that. But you know, that's susceptible to getting lost, as are these, damaged by water, stolen, everything. But as of now, this is probably the #1 way if you're managing your crypto assets personally by yourself and not using a trusted custodian of some sort. All right, then we have software wallets. I like Exodus. This is a software wallet that's kind of off. It is offline. It supports maybe 20 or 30 different crypto assets, all pretty popular. It has a built-in exchange, so you can actually exchange the supported crypto assets on the Exodus wallet directly. It has a nice user interface that shows you the breakdown and everything. My Ether wallet is a good one too. It's a little tricky to use interface. That's more like, if you're buying ERC20 tokens, an ERC20 token is a token built on top of the Ethereum network. About 50% of the top 100 tokens are ERC20 tokens. My Ether wallet supports all ERC20 tokens, so that's a good interface to line up with if you start getting into the buying and trading of these things. All right, the Winklevoss twins again, and the third option, which is storing your Bitcoin or Ethereum on Coinbase or Gemini. This seems to be agreed that it's a pretty good way to store too, but it is 98% cold storage for both of them, but it is a centralized source of failure. It's they're the custodian and not you. They hold the private keys. So if you can get them into your own hands, I think you're better off that way. Don't store on exchanges. All right, and then some final thoughts. It's pretty crazy right now. Just if you start getting into the space and you're trading and storing a lot of these things, it's a lot of personal management. It takes time. Different wallets have different user experiences, different headaches, different things to learn and get used to. So if you get into the trading world and storing these things, be careful, be well organized, and good luck out there. All right, let's see what time we have. I'm going to see if we have any time for questions. Oh yeah, we got time for questions. Yes, sir.
My next part, I'm new to all this. This seems incredibly complex and confusing and risky for young people. I mean, you see this all simplifying 12 months from now, or 12 months from now we're going to have 85 exchanges, 85 wallets.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it will get more simpler, it'll get more integrated, and it'll be more user-friendly in the future. This is kind of like hard mode right now, and it should get easier. I think different companies are starting to get more into integrating multiple of these things. They're solving kind of custody problems with third parties so that you don't have to manage all these directly, but they can do so in a trusted way. I think we'll start seeing projects coming out in the next 6 to 12 months of people managing multiple crypto assets for you, and more user-friendly exchanges, kind of like Exodus and shapeshift that will manage a lot of these for you. Yes? Yep.
So when we are buying stocks, we see those financial statements or see this financial performance. But when we choosing coins, what's like criteria we should base on to choose such coins?
Yeah, that's a great question. So some people speculate and some people are investing. So it's like normal stocks. There's people trading, high frequency trading based on news, buzz, speculation, and there's people choosing the big ones, more investing based on fundamentals, the company, the team, the product market fit, everything like that. I definitely would choose the latter. Especially in the bear market, it's hard to make money if you're just trading off of frequency. You need to choose some of the good projects. And then it's difficult to value them too. There's some work being done out there. There's a guy named Chris Bernisky who wrote a great book called Cryptoassets and tries to quantify the value of a crypto asset in terms of the addressable market size, the velocity, and the amount being held and things like that. So there's people trying to actually quantify the value. It is kind of blown up right now. It's estimated that a lot of these crypto assets are 10 to 50 times more valuable than they should be. And in terms of like financial statements, that's also a crazy one. So all of these exchanges have, they'll issue a statement at the end of the year for your tax purposes, but it's done differently. There's no clarity from the IRS on how you should file taxes for these things, if it should be first in, first out, last in, first out, if you can kind of pick and choose. And, it's just came out that, tax day is on Tuesday or something, and almost no one's filing taxes for these crypto assets. So it's going to be a headache. Yeah, that's going to be pretty crazy. Anyone else? Yeah.
I do a lot of algorithmic trading. Do you know if any of these exchanges offer, say, like real-time APIs for real-time trading or something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think BitFun is a good one. Some of them are pretty slow, but a lot of them do have APIs for the algo traders. There's definitely people making money on that front. Anyone else? Boston Crypto Talks. Usually we're over at the WeWork in Central Square, so like right around the corner from here.
Is it a meetup?
Yeah, it's on a meetup. Yeah, check it out. Crypto Talks, one word. Boston Crypto Talks. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. It seems there's a battle between decentralization and a real need to coordinate the activity. So do you see that ebbing and flowing, or you really need these exchanges and everything to make this easier? But at the same time, it's this unpredictable concept.
Exactly. That's a difficult problem. So there's a couple holy grails that people are talking right now. One is the decentralized exchange. One is a stable coin. Decentralized exchange, everyone's trying to figure out how to do it. So letting people maintain custody of their crypto assets, but still having organizations like this that are called relays that are able to match up buy and sell orders proposed by the users, but they're not ever maintaining ownership over those. It's kind of a race to get there right now. There's different projects on Neo blockchain, Ethereum, several trying to do it. Anyone? All right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate the time.